We all know the feeling. You set a goal, make a promise, or commit to a new habit. But then, almost without warning, a craving or an impulse seeps in and overwrites your best intentions. When these relapses happen, we usually blame it on a bad mood, a stressful day, or sheer weakness. We treat our moral victories and failures like the weather, unpredictable emotional events that just happen to us. But what if that internal struggle operates exactly like a foreign exchange market? Imagine your decision-making process is governed by a trading asset called the spirit flesh, or SF for X-pair. In this system, the spirit acts as the base currency. It is the anchor, your long-term identity and true value. The flesh is the quote currency, representing your reactive appetites and immediate situational urges. In the early 1970s, an analyst named J.M. Hurst outlined the principle of harmonicity. He noted that neighboring waves in market price action are related by specific mathematical ratios, the same Fibonacci sequences that dictate how a nautilus shell expands or how a plant grows. If we apply this math to our behavior, the internal struggle takes on a legible structure. Our daily choices move in waves of discipline and temptation that can be identified and measured through the precise alignment of Fibonacci ratios. This animated chart illustrates the basic mechanics. When your spirit strengthens and you exercise discipline, the chart trends bullish, building a pattern of resilience. When your flesh dominates, the price drops, tracking a bearish trend of yielding to impulse. This bearish butterfly pattern marks the market's absolute top. At the upper peak, the 1.27 extension signals a market stretched beyond value, mirroring the anatomy of pride. Below, three converging horizontal lines form a potential reversal zone of immense resistance. In our spirit flesh model, hitting that PRZ means you are stepping into a high-stakes moment of temptation. It is that exact Friday afternoon when you are exhausted and your defenses are down. The pressure to revert to bad habits hits its maximum mathematical threshold. Your overconfidence has built a behavioral bubble. When you enter that PRZ without an anchor, the flesh reasserts its pricing power, making a sharp, bearish relapse highly predictable. This daily chart shows the opposite scenario, a bullish pattern with a deep W-shaped trough. At the very bottom, point D marks a 0.886 retracement, the deepest, most extreme mathematical level of support before a pattern completely breaks down. Translating this to your inner life, the 0.886 represents the exhaustion of self-reliance. It is the moment after a failure when the ego has run out of momentum, creating the precise conditions where a shift toward humility and repentance becomes possible. Hitting that bottom point does not mean the system is broken. That extreme low is the mathematical floor where the spirit can successfully hold the line, initiate a reversal, and begin a new bullish trend. Understanding the math behind your behavior is only half the equation. You can map out every trigger and every point of pride, but none of that matters if you freeze when the pressure actually hits. This chart highlights a specific candlestick touching the 1.618 line. Analysts call this the terminal price bar. It represents the exact moment of choice when the price enters the reversal zone and tests your resolve. Here is a chart showing what happens when you face that test without discipline. Notice the volatile price drop breaking straight down through the established support zone. This is a bearish blowout. When you hit an intense temptation without a plan, your flesh gaps right through your mental defenses. You skip past any chance to pause or reflect, plunging into a repetitive cycle of giving in. The solution is algorithmic living. Institutional traders use pre-programmed algorithms to remove emotional bias from high-stress moments. Spiritual disciplines, like prayer or meditation, act as your personal algorithm. They provide a structured, repeated practice that reduces emotional variance when your willpower is tested. Your impulses will always fluctuate, but by identifying your mathematical PRZs and deploying a disciplined response, you ensure the long-term bullish trend of your character.